Huge topic today. This is really going to be tip of the iceberg of something I'm going to be devoting a lot of future effort and energy to tackling. Relates to the work I've always been doing, but really opens up to a lot more people. Is not game developer specific. And came actually from the travel, the time away, and really zooming out and thinking about what is it that I'm doing? What is it I'm doing that's helping people? What am I doing that really is making a difference for folks? And consistently over the years, obviously, although a lot of it professionally has been grounded in game development practice, it really comes down to people who have been wanting to program for years, but struggling to get themselves to do it. People have been wanting to do pixel art for a long time, couldn't get themselves to really do it. People wanted to build a game, and they had tried other resources, tried video courses, tried books. Things weren't working for them until they helped find them a way to do it. And really, this comes down to this barrier, this hurdle of getting yourself to do the things you mean to be doing, you want to be doing. Right? It's not like it's trying to trick you into doing something healthy you hate. It's that you really have this thing you want to do. In the same way as there's people who they want to write a book, they want to start a podcast, they want to run a marathon, they want to start a business, whatever it is they want to do. The difficult part isn't having a plan, isn't even forming a good plan. But they're out there soaking up a ton of material on strategy, on coming up with a better plan, and never finding a way to kind of jumpstart doing it. Getting past that hurdle of step 0, acting on the plan, from which you become able to advance at it, iterate on it, improve from it, refine it, get feedback, show it, have it become a part of your identity because it's a thing that you've done and not just a thing that you've thought about, talked about, read about, been kind of a consumer on the outside of. And that's something that, again, I know is a problem that doesn't just affect game developers. People I've helped with it have typically been game developers. This is my professional background's in, so it's easier for me to draw upon those areas. But what I'm finding is a lot of the same strategies we've been using for my training clients, for people in the club, through my own pathways in life have been helpful to people in getting past that barrier. If they want to do something, they mean to do something, they intend to do something, they're not doing it. And I think this is a huge loss for everybody, not just for the people affected. It's a huge loss for everybody because it means there's so much potential not being released out there of thoughts people are ready to share, want to share, ideas they want to develop and do something with, that we're all better off if more people are doing that. And so I'm looking at, as a complement to the work I've always been doing through Gamketo, how can I better prepare some various kinds of materials, of techniques, test those materials, and then get them out to more people than just game developers. Now, these same things absolutely, to the degree I can further refine them, solidify, articulate, enumerate, test and validate, these strategies are going to be incredibly helpful to our people in Gamketo as well. People I still work with one-on-one, people I still work with through the club. A lot of them who are newer to it are still trying to first get their first footing. And so a lot of what I'll be doing in the months ahead, potentially the weeks ahead, depending on the time frame that we wind up investing into this sort of deep burrow I'm currently obsessed with, is going to be helping to test those strategies as to, okay, well, so, they're having trouble getting their first footing, getting their first action taken. Let's try to figure out what's been working for people who have been able to do it. Let's see if we can distill out of that. That's a repeatable pattern. Let's see if we can help deploy and repeat that in their situation, who it is or isn't helping, how it is or isn't helping them. And this has actually been one of the key differentiators, by the way, of things that have helped my video course be as successful as it's been, in contrast to some other video courses out there that sort of like just don't have the same kind of traction. It's because I test thoroughly everything that I do. It's not just some theory I'm putting out there. It's not just some guesswork. It's not just ideas that sound good to me. It's things that either I have done through a large period of my life and then further bottled up and found a way to test with multiple people to figure out what's working, what are the real questions they run into, what are the real obstacles they run into. So by the time I put it into a course format or a book format or otherwise, it reflects that it's answering real questions real people had in a way that carried out that same strategy to work for someone who wasn't me. Even if it might have originated with something that I did that was working for me, found a way to repackage it and proved it didn't just work unique to my context or my it wasn't a matter of timing or luck on my side, or it wasn't a coincidence that I happened to do this thing and got this result. We're able to demonstrate when other people do this thing, they get that result. That's the problem I'm currently looking at focusing on about getting yourself to do things. And like I said, this is way more of a subject that is not going to fit in a single 4-8 minute, I don't know how long this video is going to be, YouTube chat. It's a longer project for me. It's something I've been actually piling on notes now for a while, leading up to, again, sort of the time away helped me kind of really reflect on how to kind of like further adapt this to generalize it, but it's material I've been focusing on in the background for a while now. And anyway, if you're curious to find out how it's developing, when it's ready, when it's something I can further put out there, in addition to chatting about this channel, you should be checking out getyourselftodothings.com, which will have a URL here-ish. In addition to down below, you can click the link in the URL. Going to start a new mailing list, totally separate from any mailing list I ever had with Gamketo, totally separate from any mailing list I ever had for game developers like you, for Gamketo community, for Gamketo Club, for Hobby Game Dev, the blog, separate from any of that stuff. This is a totally new list that's uniquely about, and will only ever be about, this getting yourself to do things. If you're interested in following along with that, free to sign up to that mailing list, check it out. Throughout the development of it, I might be sending out some notes on how the update's going, keeping you up to the loop in it. You can share some techniques of things that we're already finding are working, some of the early findings. Might share some questions to help me understand from your situation, both what are the challenges you're facing, getting yourself to do things, and what's been working for you in the areas we're able to. And we see if we can distill from more stories, more cases out there of what isn't working for people and what kind of situations, so we can better share that knowledge, spread that information, and get more people in the world doing the things that they want to do, mean to do, intend to do, know will be good for them, know will be good for their career, know will be good for their life, know will be good for their business, know will be good for their trajectory, and whatever it is they're aiming to do but haven't been able to get themselves to do. Let's figure out what those barriers are, how we knock them down, and help more people do it. That's getyourselftodothings.com. So anyway, new initiative I'm kicking off today. Pretty excited about it. Curious to hear in the comments down below what you think about this. Again, it's got this dual purpose of the further we can improve at this problem, absolutely it's going to help my game development people, something we've always been working on, something we're always working on doing even better. And secondarily, right, generalized out, this is not just a problem unique to game development at all. It's kind of a thread we've kind of occasionally glanced off of from tangential angles in this video, sort of chats on YouTube. We're really going to be zeroing in on how do you get yourself to do things. And, if you already have thoughts on that, let us know down below. How do you get yourself to do things when you find you're having a good time doing it? Thanks so much for following along. As always, have more of these videos to follow. As always, we're kind of bouncing around a bit between game development chat, demonstrations, talks I've been giving, as well as these kind of things about, how to get yourself to do things. We'll try out some of this material here, see how it sounds to you, see what's resonating with you, talk about some examples of what hasn't worked and all that. Thanks again for tuning in. Check out getyourselftodothings.com. Join that list. Look forward to keeping you up on how it's developing and sharing some techniques.